The ratings for the Acolyte episode 4 are here, folks, and people are saying, please don't get me near this show. We can't stand anymore. Show at the door. So bad, folks, they're starting to blame others inside Lucasfilm. And the writer now for episode 4 going so far as to say, it's Dave's fault. It's Dave's fault. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are here to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. A joy, as always, to do so. And we are so happy to have Lauren back with us today. Lauren, welcome back to the channel. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Better than those who have been making the Acolyte. Folks, we can tell you now why they have been not all right, posting music videos of insulting fans and reclaiming that they're the ones who will break the glass ceilings that were broken 40 years ago. Take a look at this. This is exactly why they've lost their minds. This is out of Variety, and it's talking about PLUMMET, which is this new system that they're getting way ahead of Nielsen. Not sure how Nielsen feels about this, but we're getting these minutes watched way ahead of when Nielsen typically would give these. We're going to find out real soon if Nielsen numbers match up with these, but so far it's what we have, and Variety's using it, so you got to think it's going to be pretty good. The Acolyte for episode 4, Lauren, took an absolute nosedive. This thing fell something like 33 to 40%-ish in viewership, dropping to 262 million minutes watched for episode 4. That's terrible. That drops it to number 7. That would put it, if it lands there with Nielsen, that will put it at the very bottom of the original series subcategory list. It'll be below things like the Jurassic Park cartoon on Netflix, if you'd like to know how badly things are going. Speaking of which, things are heating up with the blame game, and we've got this out of IMDb. Star Wars The Acolyte writer, not Leslie Headland, someone else, says that Dave Filoni approved all the scripts for the show. Yes, even Kiati Mundi. Folks, you can read this article if you'd like over at IMDb. We've got it linked in the bottom of the video description. But Lauren, they're starting to blame people now. I don't think the attacks on Star Wars theory are paying off. I don't think the retcons in Wikipedia are going well. And let me show you one more thing before I bring you in for discussion, because this is just amazing to me. The Acolyte's writer, this is out of Cinema Blend, explains why the big moment in episode 4 was cut. This person says, but I still feel robbed of a rare Star Wars moment. This is by Mick Jost. Says, I'm still miffed about this. Let me read just a bit of this so you can understand how bad things are getting. It says, Disney Plus's latest Star Wars series, The Acolyte, returned to the present. Okay, so we're out of the flashback. And this person was ready to see May kill the Jedi Wookiee Kelnaka. Unfortunately, we were all robbed of an extremely rare franchise moment, seeing a Jedi Wookiee fight, when she arrived to find him already dead. The writer behind this explained why it played out that way. Doesn't do much to counteract disappointment. It says, when we at Cinema Blend were first learning about the Acolyte, we were really excited about that darn Wookiee fight. Episode writer Claire Ketchell explained on X, unfortunately, not everything gets to be included for budget and story reasons. We had an early draft that showed his fight and death scene, but it ultimately broke the point of view of the episode in a way that I think wouldn't have worked as well. Now, the author of this article, Lauren, goes on to give a little bit of a defense and be like, well, I can see how that would ruin the episode. It's like, no. This is like over and over. This show would be the equivalent of In A New Hope telling us about the trench run instead of showing us the trench run. The only action scene we've had in this show, Lauren, is where Trinity was killed in the first 7 minutes, and that was from a teeny-weeny spork or a butter knife that hit her in the chest. And that was it. Other than that, we have watched a bug fly into a bug zapper lightsaber, and that's about it. Everything else is told to us, never showed to us, and now the writers are blaming budgets. They're saying, Dave Filoni, he's the one. He was watching the script. There are all of these excuses. Lauren, explain to me, please, do we have enough evidence, you think, at this point? Like, is there enough stuff out there on the web that we can definitively say this is not going the way that Disney wants?
I guess it depends on what you think Disney wants. If if
Oh,
they
that's
want
a
money and
yes.
if they want a claim, then yeah, it's not going the way they want. But I don't think that's what they want. I think they are deliberately at this point trolling the audience. I think that they have decided
This
that they
this is
they they
crazy, though, Lauren. I hate to interrupt, but you're telling me that a major corporation that is supposed to make money is literally using their money, that all that investing money to troll an audience that would pay them otherwise.
It's not just Disney, though. I mean, you're seeing this in all kinds of forms of entertainment. I mean, look at Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons, and the blowback that they're getting now for the artwork that they're putting out in the latest edition of Dungeons and Dragons, their refresh. This is this is activists within the company that are deciding that they don't like their fan base. They think that they're toxic, and they know that it causes some mental anguish to the people who really love this stuff, and they're enjoying trolling us. And that's exactly what I think they're doing deliberately.
But that's not even successful, Lauren. That's not successful because we're mocking them. Like, we're watching this and laughing at them. It doesn't bother us anymore, largely because we've already had the funeral for Star Wars. Well, Chris Gore and Film Fed are going to have it next month, but we've already accepted that they've destroyed the thing that we love. We have the things that we remember that were great that George did. Some of it not great, but a lot of it great. And we remember it fondly, and we go back and watch it, and we kind of separate it out from what Disney has done to the rest of the canon. But they're not successful anymore. Like when Amandla Stenberg comes out with that ridiculous music video that I bet did not take 3 days. But when she does that, it's not angering us. We're just laughing. Like, it's just silliness at this point.
Well, to a point. I think that there's a lot of apathy and a lot of people have walked away, but I think that there's still people that this hurts. And I think that they're enjoying doing that. I think that they're taking this as a massive win as long as people are talking about it. If people are talking and complaining, this is like you remember the mugs that they had that was fanboy tears after The Last Jedi came out? That's
Yes.
the kind of thing that they're wanting to milk. They're enjoying seeing people talk and seethe about this on the various social media platforms. To them, that's a win. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think that it's smart. And I think in the long run, this will hurt them. But in the short term, they're enjoying the fact that they control this IP and they're rubbing everybody's noses in it.
I mean, man, if that is the case, they need better things to do in life. I'll show you how this is going for them just in the general media now, because everyone has turned against this relatively. I mean, there are a few left who are still trying to get the cupcake parties into Disney. But this is out of the Washington Examiner by Harry Kachatrian, and it says, "From the force to farce, Disney's The Acolyte descends into self-parody." It says, "Disney has been churning out new Star Wars spin-offs with the giddy recklessness of 20th century Germany launching new world wars. Each endeavor seems more catastrophic and damaging to its reputation than the last." Good grief. That's may even go farther than I would go. Created by TV filmmaker Leslie Headland, known for her work on Sleeping with Other People and Russian Doll. No, that's not what she's known for. She's known for something else. Acolyte feels like Star Wars reimagined by those who harbor a profound disdain for the original saga and its protagonists. Okay, well, yes, that's exactly what you're saying, Lauren. The new series revolves around estranged twin sisters, May and Osha. As unveiled in the opening prelude, Acolyte takes place a century prior to George Lucas's, prior to Phantom Menace prequel, and aims to animate the emergence of the dreaded dark side. But this goes on to talk about this is just flat out parody. I mean, it calls it cartoonish dialogue. This article mocks the fact, all the DEI plugins. It mocks stealing from other franchises. It mocks just everything about this. And that's the only way I think that we can respond accurately to what we're seeing here. And it's not like the Acolyte is winning friends over on the left. They've gone so far that Slate says Star Wars has lost its sense of spectacle by Jeffrey Bunting. The Acolyte is yet another example of how flat the franchise has become. Lauren, they've lost everyone minus just a few shills. No one wants this anymore. And if you're right, they are just presiding and sitting on a throne of rubble. So I don't know how much longer this can go. Lauren, I'm going to give you the impossible task again. We have so many new viewers and subscribers, and they've not heard your take on this. Others may have, but I'd like to ask you one more time. Given where we are now with the Acolyte, what what would be your, and I'll give my vision of this after you do, but what would you do with this franchise if Disney handed it to Lauren Connor and said, please help us? What would you convince them to do at this point?
Mothball it. It has to sit for a good long time, because what you have to do, if you wanted to try and revive this and make it a viable property again, you have to get rid of everybody. And that means you have to reconstitute the company from the ground up. And if there is talent that can remain that is apolitical, hopefully these would be the technical folks, the model makers and the visual effects people, not the writers and producers and talent. Hopefully those core of people who can would be able to stay. But if not, you're going to have to recruit, and that's going to be very difficult given all of the obstacles that are in their place without the company is operating. But if you could axe, I think, a large number of people within the company and reconstitute the talent internally, they're going to have to be brought up to speed, and you're going to have to get together some new writer's room to come up with a concept. Then you would have to somehow break to the fan base, okay, we're doing a reset. We're getting rid of everything that happened after the Disney purchase, and we're starting over post Return of the Jedi. And this is how we're going to try and move forward. Disney can't operate that way. And the way that I see them operating right now, not just in their movie business, but also in their parks, it seems to me they're having trouble maintaining anything. And the threat that Universal is bringing with their new Epic Universe park, it seems to me that the Disney crown has slipped, and I don't see a way that they can regain it. They have gotten too addicted to trying to attract their core audience that they think they want to have, and they've gotten too used to nickel and diming on everything that used to be part of the experience. I don't see a way to bring the middle class back, certainly not with the leadership they have now. This is not just a Lucasfilm problem. This is a Disney problem, which means you have to gut not only Lucasfilm, you have to replace a significant number of seats on the board, and you have to have a competent CEO. Iger no longer fills that role.
That's right, folks. And James O'Keefe apparently will be releasing another expose later today. If he does, and if it is worthy of doing so, we'll go live with coverage of that right here on the Pro Channel with a special edition Pro Show. We'll see what happens there. But I agree with you, Lauren. I think that Inside Out 2 is just a tremendous gift to Disney. Had Inside Out 2 not done what it's doing, this is a company that really was going to have significant scrutiny. The stock could have been diving and driving down towards the 90 mark instead. Inside Out 2 has sort of buoyed the company for a little while, and so that's good for them. But in terms of Star Wars, I think you're exactly on the point. You got to mothball this thing, and you got to get rid of a huge portion of Lucasfilm. In the meantime, I might hand off a project to somebody I really trusted. Maybe the Duffer Brothers are finishing up with Stranger Things. You might be able to convince them if you said, hey, this is not under Kathleen Kennedy. It's not under any of these people anymore. You might be able to convince them to do like a Knights of the Old Republic or something, and do a mini series and get away. But don't like everything to do with current Disney Star Wars would have to be severed from. You would have to say, that's gone. We're going to start over. Enjoy this mini series while we regather and figure out what we want to do. I think it's that bad. Now, Lauren, respond to that if you would like, but I would also like your take. In addition to that, we're watching the ratings, of course, crater. The blame, it seems to me, is going to go to Dave Filoni. I don't see any way around this. They're going to blame Dave Filoni. The way that Disney is constituted and the way that we've seen things play out now with these O'Keefe files and the Disney files out of Film Threat, Dave Filoni fits all the characteristics of a guy who would be blamed in this kind of a situation. Do you think that Dave Filoni's days are numbered? I'll give you a go on those two items.
That's harder to answer. I don't know if his days are numbered. I think you're right that he's going to be blamed, and I think that he deserves the blame. He is the
What happened to him, Lauren? Why did he fail so badly in his transition from animation to live action?
I don't think anything happened to him per se. My opinion of him has always been that he's a 50-50 guy. I think that there are some things that he does that's pretty good, and I think there's a lot of things that he does that are crap. But I think most of all about Dave is that he knows who signs his paychecks. So it's not just Dave, it's that He will do anything that he can to please whoever is in charge to retain his position and curry their favor. That's why I always felt that the guy who should be in charge, the guy that should have been in that role, was Favreau. And then I think that you have Dave as the lower guy that can advise but not be in charge. But that's not the direction that they went. Um, I think that Filoni bears a significant amount of the responsibility here because he did chart the direction. He over-focused on the particular parts of Star Wars that were created that were favorable to his sensibilities, and some of that gets a little too far off track. Also, he's doing it at the behest of Kathleen, and Iger is behind all of this stuff too. All of these people are responsible, and all of this stuff flows from the top. That's why you've got to can an awful lot of people. That the investors are not in open revolt shocks me, considering that they're 50% down from their highs when they were flying high, and everybody knew this was the way it's going. And beyond that, I think a guy that people really need to be paying attention to is Knee Pain, who came out here in the last week and was talking a little bit about some of this stuff. I think he's absolutely right. We've not seen the bottom yet. They're going to continue to double down and get even worse. I think there's more bottom to find, and I think Skeleton Crew is going to be a part of that.
Ooh, well, if there's a bottom below the Acolyte, that's going to be a place I'm not sure we want to go with them, because I mean, the ratings for this are at 200 million minutes on episode 4. Episode 5, if it goes off that, I mean, we're talking about one of only 2 live action series for Star Wars where this one will be the second in a row to fall completely off of any Nielsen charts whatsoever. And you're talking about what was the biggest franchise on the planet. I mean, to put this into comparison, Lauren, Bridgerton, is Bridgerton sort of has the audience that the Acolyte is aiming for, right? Women. They're watching Bridgerton, and they're watching it something like 15 times more than the Acolyte. You're not a very big franchise if you're being beaten 15 times over. That's bonkers.
Well, consider the trajectory that they've been on. Every time that they have had an opportunity to course correct, they have instead doubled down. There is obvious contempt for their audience and the people who liked Star Wars, and I continue to contend they are deliberately rubbing people's noses in it. Iger is not reining these people in, and he's in fact behind a lot of this, as the O'Keefe tapes said. He's pushing for agenda over storytelling, no matter what he says. Nobody is running the ship. You've let a whole bunch of monkeys into this place, and you've let them type on all their typewriters, and they are not coming up with Shakespeare. They're coming up with what you would expect monkeys to come up with if they're typing on typewriters in a room. And I think Knee Pain is right. They're going to continue to double and triple and quadruple down because they hate the fans and they hate the franchise. What they like about it is what it allows them to do. It says, look at me. Look at the things that I think are important, you bigot. That's what they want to do. And I don't see them changing their ways.
Lord, I'm going to switch your analogy. I'm going to take it off of monkeys. I don't think you intend to have that have a connotation that some people would use against us negatively. I'm going to switch it to hens. It's like a bunch of, caffeinated poultry just jabbing away at the keyboard with their beaks. Just bang, 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 bang. And it's just nonsense. It's utter nonsense. I knew exactly what you're saying, Lauren. I just know there are people out there who are vicious and would take it in a way that we never intended. But Lauren, I want to ask you this, okay? You've brought something to my mind, and that is, if that's what they're doing with the franchise, and you're pretty darn persuasive on that for me, box office. They want to make some more movies. Kathleen Kennedy wants a movie. They're going to do The Mandalorian. We've got Charmin Obaid-Chinoy talking again about the Rey movie. I have a hard time seeing how a franchise that can't stay in the Nielsen charts is going to actually go to the box office without spooking the living daylights out of investors when they see how badly it will do. What do you think a Star Wars movie right now would do based on this direction they're in?
You're talking about for like box office haul or like critical
So,
reception?
so let me give you an offer here, and you tell me if you agree. I think the Mandalorian movie is sort of separate. I think Favreau, we don't know what he might do. He's kind of a wild card. It might actually be an okay movie. So set that to the side for the moment. The Ray movie. Okay, we know what product we get out of the Ray movie. We know the people who are involved in it. We know the direction they want to take it. We know they want to make men uncomfortable. We got all that. What kind of box office return do you think the Ray movie will get if it's anything like how the Acolyte is being received on television?
My hunch is that we won't really know because I think that to cover their butts, they're going to want to do a simultaneous release on Disney Plus, and maybe even the way they sell that is that they say, "Hey, do you want to see the movie early before it releases in the box office?"
Right, right.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to hedge their bets to say, well, what's reflected in the box office returns is not what the movie actually made. Short of that, I think their only option is canceling the movie because they're not going to want to have those box office returns reported.
I think it would make Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny look like a lucrative endeavor for Lucasfilm. I think you could see something like 200 million as the top end of a Ray movie box office. I think it could be that bad. I think it would damage the theme parks, which still try to pretend that the sequel trilogy is popular. I think it could have this cascading effect. Anyway, I think that's where we are. I don't want to belabor it too much, but Lauren, we now know the ratings for the Acolyte are absolutely in the toilet, and the blame game has begun. We'll see where that blame game continues to go. But folks, we'll cover it all right here. We'll give it to you fair and square. That's what we do each and every day, 3 times daily. And Lauren, you've got a fantastic YouTube channel where you are continuing to shine light on what once was great about Star Wars. Tell the folks what you've got coming up. And by the way, before you do, congratulations on a big milestone.
Oh, thank you. Recently passed 1,000 subscribers, and appreciate every one of you that is viewing the channel. We should have Vision of the Future Chapter 37 coming out tomorrow morning. We're rapidly barreling to the end of the Hand of Thrawn duology, and I'm still kind of cogitating over what we're going to cover next, so we'll see.
There you go, folks. Make sure you go check out and subscribe to Lauren's YouTube channel, and I would love to see your deep into the lore, deep into the background of Star Wars kind of content really take off as you hit some of those big milestones that tells YouTube, hey, this guy's got the good stuff. So looking forward to that. Folks, you can help YouTube think the same thing about this video. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, hit the notification bell, drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, again, if James O'Keefe brings the goods today, we'll be there. We'll do it live. You'll see us. We'll see you. We're happy to have you there. All right, folks, we have to wrap it for now. But so much content coming on the way, including more about the Ray movie. We'll see you soon. In the meantime, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube.
Huh?
Vacation Radio. WDW Pro's music channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh! And I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga.
He's Jose.
That one seems a little bit foreign to you.